Picture this. You wake up before the alarm. The room is quiet. The air is cool. There is a half second where your mind hasn't remembered who you are yet. In that half second, everything feels possible. Then your thoughts arrive, like birds landing on a wire. The first one whispers, "This is going to be a hard day." Another one says, "You're behind." A third one reminds you of that message you haven't answered, that bill you haven't paid, that promise you made to yourself and broke. And just like that, your mood tilts, your shoulders tighten, your day begins to take its shape around the tone of those thoughts. Now, imagine a different morning. Same bed, same air, same life. But the first thought is steady. Today, I choose my inner weather. The second thought is focused. One honest step, then another. The third thought is kind. I can give myself a clean slate. Your breathing slows. Your mind clears. The day opens like a window. What changed? Not the world, not the people texting you, not your bank account. Only the quiet, sovereign power that decides what gets planted in the soil of your mind. James Allen called that power the master we all live with. He said our thoughts are the seeds of our character, the blueprints of our destiny. If you feel like life is shaping you from the outside in, today is the day we flip it. We start from the inside out. James Allen wrote a small book with a long echo. As a Man Thinketh is barely the size of your palm, but it carries the weight of a lifetime. Published in 1903, it travels from hand to hand across generations because it whispers a truth we already suspect. You are not a victim of your thinking. You are the architect of it. And when you learn to build with that material, your circumstances begin to rearrange themselves around the new design. This is not a fantasy of wishing. It is not a spell for instant comfort. It is a discipline of perception. Ellen says that your mind is like a garden. Leave it alone, and weeds appear by default. Tend it, and it becomes a place that feeds you. He argues that character is the complete sum of your thoughts. Where you habitually aim your attention becomes the person you become. He goes further. He says that circumstances are shaped, revealed, and filtered through thought. Not every event is your creation, but your responses, your meanings, your patterns of focus, these transform raw life into your lived life. In the next hour, I'm going to walk with you through the living core of this book, not as a lecture, but as a conversation you have with yourself when the room is quiet. We will translate ideas into daily practice. We will expose the common traps that make good intentions fall apart. We will build a small, strong set of actions that you can start today. And at the end, I will challenge you, not with the pressure to become perfect, but with an invitation to become precise. Precision of thought, precision of purpose, precision of peace. Let's begin with the heart of Allen's claim. Thought and character are fused. You and your thinking are not identical. You are the chooser behind the stream. But the stream you allow, the stream you cultivate, becomes your riverbed. Why does this matter? Because many people try to renovate their lives by rearranging furniture in the outer rooms, while the wiring in the walls stays the same. They change jobs, but bring the same resentment. They start relationships, but pack the same suspicion. They join a gym, but live the same inner story. And then they wonder why the scenery changes and the feeling doesn't. The mind is not the enemy. It is the workshop. If you learn to handle your tools, you can build solidity where there was drift, compassion where there was blame, courage where there was delay. One barrier to this is a quiet superstition we carry. We think thoughts just happen to us. We take ownership of our actions, but treat our thinking like weather. That belief makes us passive. It also makes us inconsistent. You don't need to police your minds with fear. You need to shepherd it with attention. Begin with a simple practice. Choose a phrase that is true, stable, and useful. Something like, I take responsibility for my response, or I can choose the next honest action. Write it down. Put it where your eyes land in the morning. When the old default thought tries to set the day's thermostat, answer it with this phrase, not as a fight, but as a direction. Then act in a way that makes the phrase feel real. Take one step that a responsible responder would take. Send the message. Drink the glass of water. Open the document. Make the bed. The action anchors the thought. The thought steadies the action. Allen also argues that circumstances don't create character. They reveal it. This can sound harsh if we hear it as blame. It isn't blame. It's agency. Life throws events like weather throws rain. Your character is the kind of roof you've built. If leaks appear, you are not guilty. You are invited. You are invited to repair what water reveals. There's a difference between cause and contribution. You didn't cause every storm, but your thinking contributes to how you prepare, how you endure, and how you grow after. Ask yourself, where in my life do I keep meeting the same kind of problem? Not the same people, the same pattern. Perhaps it's the pattern of overcommitting, then resenting. Perhaps it's the pattern of procrastinating, then rushing, then excusing. Perhaps it's the pattern of expecting others to read your mind, then feeling neglected. Those patterns are not curses. They are signals. They say, examine the thought that comes right before the behavior. That thought is the key in the lock. Take the example of someone trapped in constant busyness. On the surface, the problem is time. Underneath, a thought plays on loop. If I slow down, I won't be valuable. If I say no, I won't be loved. If I rest, I will fall behind. These thoughts breed anxious decisions. The calendar fills, the body tightens, the mind gets noisy. What is the antidote? Not simply fewer tasks. The antidote is to replace the hidden thought with a deliberate one. My value is not measured by speed. My commitments mean more when I choose them. Rest sharpens my edge. You might say, that sounds nice, but will it change anything? It will if you protect it with small acts. Block 1 hour each week you call your sharpening hour. In that hour, you do something that improves the tool you are. Reading, learning, practicing, or replenishing. You treat it like a paid appointment with your future self. Every kept appointment weakens the old belief. The calendar becomes a map of new thought. Adopt a vibrant and clear delivery that brings the story's imagery to life. The pace should be measured and rhythmic, allowing dramatic moments to land with force and quiet moments to feel intimate. Infuse key phrases with purposeful energy and a hint of steel, reflecting the defiance of the characters. Speak with an authoritative yet personal tone, as if you are a witness to these events, sharing a truth that must be remembered. Another principle from Allen is the sovereignty of purpose. He says, the weak man drifts, the strong man directs. This is not about domination. It is about direction. Purpose is the North Star that prevents your energy from scattering like light through a curtain. Without purpose, you live by reaction. With purpose, you respond by design. How do you cultivate purpose without turning life into a rigid plan? Start with a clear sentence. In this season, my purpose is to grow in X by practicing Y for the sake of Z. Fill in those letters. Maybe it's, my purpose is to grow in steadiness by practicing daily writing for the sake of telling the truth more clearly. Or, my purpose is to grow in generosity by practicing attentive listening for the sake of loving the people I live with. Keep it simple. Put it where you will see it. Then choose 3 anchoring behaviors that keep you near that North Star. 10 minutes of practice each day, 1 conversation each week, where you ask more than you speak. One reflection each Sunday, where you look at what worked and what didn't. These anchors form grooves in your week. The grooves guide you when motivation is absent. Purpose is less about fireworks and more about rails. What keeps us from purpose? Often it is the fear of choosing wrong. We hesitate to pick a direction because we don't trust ourselves to course correct. But purpose is not a prison, it's a path. You don't owe your past self an unwise loyalty. You owe your present self honest adjustments. Another barrier is the addiction to comparison. When we compare, we rebuild our lives around other people's purposes. We become talented at living someone else's plan. Ask yourself, whose scoreboard am I using? If your sense of progress depends on an audience you don't respect, you will chase applause that empties you. The antidote is to measure yourself by your agreements with yourself. Did I keep my word today? Did I act in alignment with the person I'm becoming? Did I make an honest effort, not a perfect outcome? Allen writes about the effect of thought on health and the body. He says the body is the servant of the mind. This doesn't mean that positive thinking cures all illness, nor that suffering is a moral failure. It means that your inner climate influences the signals your body sends. Anxiety accelerates. Resentment tightens. Gratitude softens. Calmness steadies. If you've ever replayed a conflict and felt your stomach knot again, you've seen this truth. If you've ever forgiven and felt your breathing open, you've seen it too. To practice this, build a ritual of reset. When your body tells you your thoughts have become harsh, respond with the 3-step sequence. Step 1. Name what's happening. My chest is tight. My mind is looping. Step 2. Narrow your attention to one slow breath in, one slow breath out, counting each. Do that 5 times. Step 3. Plant a better question. What is the next kind thing I can do? Not the next dramatic thing, the next kind thing. Perhaps it's drinking water. Perhaps it's stepping outside for 3 minutes. Perhaps it's writing the unspoken sentence you need to say to someone, then actually saying it. The body begins to trust that you will not abandon it to a storm of thought. Allen also speaks of the thought factor in achievement. People often think achievement is a mixture of luck and talent. He says thought chooses the channel through which talent flows and luck lands. Imagine 2 people with similar skills. One keeps telling himself that opportunities are traps. The other sees opportunities as invitations to learn. Who will act more often? Who will persist longer when it's uncomfortable? Who will speak up in the meeting where a door opens? Achievement is the compounding interest of thousands of small thought choices. You can architect those choices by using implementation intentions. If I face X trigger, I will do Y action that aligns with my purpose. If I get a difficult email, I will draft a calm response and wait 10 minutes before sending. If I finish a task, I will take 1 minute to plan the next most important step. If I notice I'm avoiding the hard thing, I will start a 5-minute timer and touch the task anyway. This removes decision friction. It cuts a path through the mental weeds. What gets in the way here? Inner negotiation. We make tiny deals with ourselves that waste weeks. I'll start when the conditions are perfect. I'll try after I feel confident. I'll ask when they seem less busy. Those deals never close. Replace negotiation with ritual. Decide once, act many times. A simple rule. Begin before you are ready. Then revise while moving. Courage does not erase discomfort. It puts discomfort to work. Now, let's walk into the chapters of vision and ideals. Alan says your dreams are the seedlings of reality. Not every dream will be harvested, but every harvest starts as a seed you chose to plant. A vision protects you from the weight of the present by giving you a reason to carry it. Without a vision, setbacks feel fatal. With a vision, setbacks feel like tuition. Picture a small business owner who wants to create a place where customers feel seen, not processed. That vision guides hiring. It guides how conflicts with customers are handled. It guides how success is measured. When a month dips, it hurts, but it doesn't erase the reason. The owner asks, how can I serve the vision today, even in scarcity? Maybe it's writing handwritten notes. Maybe it's training a team member to handle a delicate conversation. Vision turns scarcity into creativity. But visions can soar into fantasies if they are not paired with integrity. Integrity is when your private actions match your public ideals. It's when you do the thing when nobody is scoring. Without integrity, a vision is a costume. With integrity, even a small vision gains gravity. Ask yourself, where is there a gap between who I say I am and what I actually do when it is annoying, when it is expensive, when nobody is grateful? Don't shame yourself. Notice the gap the way a carpenter notices a measurement that is off. Then shave, sand, and fit until the joint is snug. Each honest fix is a vote for the person you claim to be. Alan ends with serenity. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. Serenity is not dullness. It is disciplined energy. It is the ability to be the quiet center of your own life. From that center, you can move fast without hurry, strong without strain, soft without collapse. How do you train for serenity? Practice the pause. When you feel provoked, pause long enough to choose who you want to be in the next sentence. When you feel overwhelmed, pause long enough to identify one smallest next step. When you feel attacked, pause long enough to ask, what part of this is about me and what part belongs to the other person's weather? Serenity is built from many honorable pauses. You might say that all sounds noble, but my life is messy. I have bills and children and deadlines and grief. Can this garden metaphor really survive in a storm? It can if you drop the idea that gardens must be perfect. Gardens are living. They require weeding, watering, pruning, resting seasons, and replanting. You will forget. You will fall back into old thinking. Then you will remember again, and that remembering is progress. When your mind returns to old ruts, don't panic. Step out like a driver easing a tire out of a groove. Gentle correction, steady hands, back onto the road. Let's bring this to street level with some human stories. Think of Marcus, a mid-level manager who sees politics everywhere at work. He believes every decision is a hidden attack or a test. His thought is, if I don't defend myself, I'll be used. He interrupts. He hoards information. He gossips in safe corners. His team learns to smile and withhold. Performance drops. Marcus is angry at their disengagement. One day, his mentor asks him, "Where did you learn that distrust equals safety?" Marcus remembers a job years ago where a promise was broken. That memory became policy. He had been applying an old contract to a new context. He replaces his policy with a practice. Assume good intent. Verify with clarity. Respond with boundaries. He adds a weekly ritual, one transparent update to his team about a decision he made, including what he considered and why. Over months, people relax around him. the results improve. Did the company become perfect? No. Marcus became aligned. The outside didn't owe him a guarantee. He gave himself a plan. Consider Anna, an artist who starts projects with fire and then loses interest. She tells herself, inspiration is a rare visitor, and if it doesn't stay, I can't work. Her new thought becomes, inspiration visits the working studio. She sets a timer for 90 minutes 3 times a week. She commits to showing up, not to feeling a certain way. She finishes drafts that she used to abandon. She learns that motivation can be a lagging indicator. It often arrives after movement, not before. Think about Liang, who carries an old wound from a parent's constant criticism. He hears that voice in his head whenever he tries something new. He decides to give the critic a chair in the room, but not the microphone. When the voice speaks, he writes down the sentence as if it came from a stranger. Would I hire this voice as a coach? If not, he thanks it for its concern and replaces it with a standard he respects. Do your best with the time you have. He measures progress over weeks, not hours. The harsh voice weakens. His body learns that trying is not dangerous. Let's turn these stories into steps you can hold. For the next 30 days, choose a mental theme. It could be responsibility, purpose, calm, generosity, or truth. Each morning, write one sentence of intention connected to that theme. Today, I practice calm by pausing before I reply. Then choose one micro action that proves it. Today, I will wait 3 breaths before I answer a challenging message. At night, ask 2 questions. Where did I keep my word? Where did I step away, and what small adjustment can I make tomorrow? This is not about self-punishment. It is about keeping promises with gentleness. Discipline without gentleness becomes brittle. Gentleness without discipline becomes vague. Together, they make you durable. Another practice is the thought audit. Once a week for 10 minutes, write down the most frequent thought that colored your week in each area: work, relationships, body, money, future. Don't judge it, name it. Then write the thoughts you want to practice instead. Not a magical sentence, a functional one. Move from, I'm never going to catch up, to, I can prioritize 3 wins that matter. Move from, nobody understands me, to, I will say what I need clearly and calmly. Move from, I'm bad with money, to, I am learning to plan and I'm willing to look. Then choose one behavior that expresses the new thought in each area. Schedule it. If it isn't on a calendar, it is a hope floating in the fog. A third practice is the circle of meaning. When something painful happens, draw 2 circles on a page. In the first, write the facts. In the second, write the meanings you added. The client canceled. I told myself, it means I'm losing momentum and people don't value me. Now interrogate the meaning with kindness. What are 3 alternative meanings? The client's budget changed. The project scope is off. I didn't articulate the value clearly. Which meaning leads to growth? Choose it. Act on it. This breaks the reflex that turns neutral or ambiguous events into self-attacks. Allen insists on the dignity of self-control. This is not repression. It is stewardship. It is the ability to hold a feeling without being thrown by it. Imagine you're carrying a glass of water filled to the brim. Your goal is to walk across the room without spilling. Self-control is not about hating the water. It is about adjusting your pace so you arrive without a mess. Build it by training tiny delays. When you want to check your phone, wait 30 seconds. When you want to interrupt, take 1 breath. When you want to eat to soothe, drink a glass of water and walk for 2 minutes. These delays are not punishments. They are space makers. Space lets wisdom speak before impulse does. Now, ask yourself some questions that will do more than stir the air. When I walk into a room, what is the thought I bring with me about myself and about others? How has that thought served me? And how has it limited me? If my life 1 year from now reflected one upgraded thought, which thought would I choose? What relationship would benefit most if I replaced suspicion with curiosity? What one habit would shift if I believed discipline is an act of self-love? What would change if I measured myself by keeping promises rather than quick wins? Sit with these questions. Don't rush to answer them all right now. Let one of them choose you, then live with it for a week. Sometimes people misunderstand Alan and think he is blaming the sufferer for their pain. That is not the core of his message. He is not saying every blow that lands on you is your doing. He is saying that within your circle of control exists a power that multiplies your ability to heal and to build. He is inviting you to reclaim that power, not as a slogan, but as a daily craft. That craft does not erase grief or injustice. It gives you the strength to stand upright within them. It prevents bitterness from becoming your biography. Another common misunderstanding is that positive thinking means avoiding negative facts. But maturity is not denial. It is the grace to tell the truth without becoming the truth. You can say, "I am scared," without surrendering to fear's command. You can say, "This is hard," without signing the contract that says it will defeat you. The mind is not a factory of slogans. It is a place where you make meaning and choose direction. There is a humble, powerful sentence in this book's spirit. You are where your thoughts have brought you. You will be where your thoughts will take you. That sentence does not condemn the present. It simply gives you the keys to the car. You can choose a new road. You can practice a new way to steer. Let me share a personal style reflection. Imagine you and I meet years from now. We sit at a small table near a window. You were telling me about this season, about the day you began to treat your mind like a garden you could tend. You laugh at how simple some of the steps were and how much you resisted them. You tell me about the first time you said no to a request without over-explaining. You tell me about the morning you wrote a one-sentence purpose and felt a click inside your chest. You tell me about the conflict you handled with calm, not because the other person deserved it, but because serenity is now part of who you are. You show me a list of promises you keep with yourself. They're not dramatic, they're honest. And from those honest routines, you built a life that feels like a good pair of shoes. It fits your feet. It carries you far. You say that what surprised you was not that the world suddenly rewarded you. It did, sometimes. What surprised you was that even when the world didn't, you felt anchored. You stopped begging the outer weather to behave before you could be yourself. You learned to plant thoughts that grow character, and character that grows a life you respect. So here is the challenge for today. Not a marathon, a seed. Choose one thought you will plant for the next 7 days. Make it practical. Make it specific. Tie it to a behavior you can schedule. If your seed is responsible, choose the behavior of sending that overdue message today. If your seed is purpose, choose the behavior of writing your one-sentence purpose by tonight. If your seed is serenity, choose the behavior of pausing 3 breaths before you reply to a tense message. If your seed is generosity, choose the behavior of giving 5 extra minutes of full attention to someone who needs it. Write it down, speak it aloud, then protect it like a gardener who knows a seed looks unimpressive the first week but holds a forest inside. Tell a friend if that helps. Put a reminder where your old thought usually wins. And when you forget, and you will, smile and return. The return is the muscle. The return is the turning. As we close, let this truth settle. You do not need to conquer your mind to live a beautiful life. You need to befriend it, train it, and direct it. Thoughts are tools. They can cut you or carve you. With patience, they become instruments that play the song of your best character. James Allen's little book is not a trumpet blast. It's a steady bell. It rings to remind you that your inner life is not a cage, but a craft. You do not need more slogans. You need a small set of faithful practices and the courage to keep them when it's inconvenient. Calmness is not the absence of storms. It is the art of steering through them without spilling your purpose on the floor. Purpose is not pressure. It is clarity. Responsibility is not blame. It is agency. And vision is not escape. It is direction. So remember this line and tie it with you today. The thoughts you plant are the life you grow. Plant with care, water with action, weed with honesty, harvest with gratitude. You woke up this morning with a half second of possibility. You can claim that half second again right now. Choose the next thought. Choose the next step. Build the person who can hold the life you want. And when you look back from that small table by the window years from now, you'll smile and say, "It began the day I decided to become the gardener of my own mind."